Hey everybody, how's it going? So Chris Columbus here is absolutely dragging J.K. Rowling through the mud. What's new? Hollywood absolutely going off on anybody who disagrees with their ideology. This is completely and totally psychotic. So Chris Columbus reveals why a new Harry Potter film is impossible, citing J.K. Rowling's disagreements with crew members. Because she disagrees with them, it's her fault. It's not anybody else's fault. Chris Columbus recently weighed in on the creation of a new J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter film with an old cast. During an interview with the Times UK, the Academy Award-nominated filmmaker reveals that conflicts surrounding J.K. Rowling's views and the cast's differing opinions made such a reunion impossible. It's never going to happen. It's gotten so complicated with all of the political stuff. Everyone in the cast has their own opinion, which is different from her own opinion, which makes it impossible. Imagine being such a stupid human being that you think that you cannot work with anybody that has a differing opinion. Is this what they're being taught in Hollywood? Is this why he's doing what he's doing here? Is that how Hollywood runs? Do you believe in this? You cannot work with us anymore? That's a crazy mentality to have. Psychotic mentality to have. Imagine if that's how all our manufacturing worked in the United States. Or let alone just any job in general. McDonald's even. You don't believe in this, so you can't work here? That's pretty insane. That's actually pretty insane. How in the world would you get anything done if you didn't work with people who disagreed on a few things? I thought the left was all about diversity, right? So they really are just coming out and saying, no, diversity is just skin color. That's it. That's exactly what this dude is saying right here. That should really make you see exactly how, unbelievably racist these people are. You know what I mean? No, you can't have differing ideas. You just must have different skin color. It's so crazy. Chris Columbus also pointed out his own distance from J.K. Rowling. However, he emphasized that he still maintained a close relationship with the lead cast members, especially Daniel Radcliffe. Well, good for you, I guess. I haven't spoken to Miss Rowling in a decade or so, so I have no idea what's going on with her. Well, maybe you should try to find out first before coming out and saying stuff. You know, maybe whenever you're friends with somebody, instead of just coming out and going, man, I haven't talked to my friend here in 10 years, but I've kind of seen some things that they've said recently, and I just have to completely make sure that I don't go out of my way to figure out what they actually mean or anything like that. Isn't that just psychotic? Anyway, but I try to keep very close contact with Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, I bet you do try, don't you? And I just spoke to him a few days ago. So why do you try to keep in touch with him, but not J.K. Rowling? You know, the person who literally made you so unbelievably wealthy. I know Chris Columbus was a famous director before her, but I guarantee you he has never made as much money from any other franchise, period. Harry Potter absolutely made him as wealthy as he is today. He probably wouldn't even be a quarter of the wealth that he is today without those movies. I still have a great relationship with all the kids in the cast. Oh, that's a weird thing to say, Chris Columbus said. Anyway, during the interview, Chris Columbus further admitted that plans to adapt the Broadway hit Harry Potter and the Cursed Child have been abandoned. The play, set nearly 2 decades after Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, follows Harry's second son, Albus Potter, who struggled with his father's legacy. Chris Columbus explained that it had become too complicated to remain associated with the wizarding world without also being linked to J.K. Rowling's controversies. Well, it is her story. It has to be linked to her, but it's not her controversies. You're looking at this backwards because you're a Hollywood nutjob. This included her widespread backlash over her views on transgender issues. Sure. Not really, but okay. Tell yourself that. Reflecting on the future franchise, Columbus also dismissed HBO and Warner Bros. Television's upcoming Harry Potter series. He added that it was uninspired and more of the same. More of the same what? You could try to clarify. He further added that it was difficult imagining anyone else taking on the iconic roles originally played by Alan Rickman, Maggie Smith, and Robbie Coltrane. Yeah, well, tell me that whenever you all keep remaking every single other movie every other year. So difficult to recast them. Hey, let's cast, someone for Little Mermaid. How about for the Snow White movie? Who'd y'all cast for that? Oh, it's just so difficult to imagine these people in other roles, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous argument, right? You guys are literally wanting to make the person whose skin is fair and white as snow someone who's not white. That's a wild thing. I wonder how people imagined Snow White, which isn't even that person's technical name. Well, no, they named her that. They did name her that. That's right. Her name was Snow White because at birth they said, "Oh, her skin is as pale as snow." So, therefore, she is Snow White. Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing. I wonder what other people would imagine her as, right? This wasn't the first time Chris Columbus weighed in on J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter franchise. According to a Variety report published on August 25th, 2025, while promoting Netflix's Thursday Murder Club in London, Chris Columbus spoke to the outlet and revealed why he had no interest in revisiting the Wizarding World. Explaining his stance, Columbus said he felt his vision of the franchise had already been fulfilled. Well, your vision is very worthless. It's the books. And that's why, the movies actually didn't live up to be as good as the books in most situations. Simply because you wanted your vision in it instead of what the vision actually was. No, I've done it. No, I've done it. You saw my version. There's nothing left for me to do in the world of Harry Potter. Okay. Well, anyway, after all of this garbage that he started spewing out of his mouth, J.K. Rowling ended up responding to it. Another man who has once worked with me declares himself saddened on my beliefs of gender and sex. I thought it might be useful to compile a list for a handy reference. Which of the following do you imagine makes actors and directors who aren't involved with the HBO reboot of Harry Potter so miserable? Well, her casting is really kind of garbage, especially when it comes to Snape. She should figure that out because even he came out against her and she's still keeping him. So that's just really, really, really dumb on her part. Is it my belief that women and girls should have their own public changing rooms and bathrooms? That women should retain female-only RAPE crisis centers? That men don't belong in women's sports? That female prisoners should not be incarcerated with violent men and male offenders? That women should remain a protected class in law because they have blank specific needs and issues? That language should reflect reality rather than ideological jargon, especially in a medical context? That many women shouldn't be harassed, persecuted, or fired for refusing to pretend humans can't change? Yeah, exactly. That women should not be threatened with violence and RAPE when they assert their rights? That women of speech and belief are essentially pluralistic democratic society? To a pluralistic democratic society. That troubled minors, especially those who are GAY, autistic, and trauma experienced, should be given mental health support instead of irreversible surgeries and drug treatments on non-existent evidence of benefit. That GAY people shouldn't be pressured to include the opposite person in their dating pools, nor should they be smeared as... Yeah, I can't say that one out loud either. You guys are reading this out loud. I'm not saying this out loud. When they don't. That cross-dressing hetero males, I can't say that word out loud on YouTube either. Thank you so much, J.K. Rowling. Aren't actually oppressed, but having the time of their lives piggybacking off gender identity ideology, which is what they are doing 100%. That said, ideology and the privilege, blinkered fools pushing it because they suffer zero consequences themselves, have done more damage to the political left's credibility than Trump and Farage could have achieved in a century. Let me have your thoughts. She's dead right about that last statement. Dead right about it. Anyway, this guy's saying, your beliefs aren't what makes them uncomfortable. It's the fact that you voice them and don't give an S what anyone has to say about it. That terrifies them, which is why they pass around the same script. And, she's responding to everybody's thing here. Oh, good. Lucy Brown's here. Begging you to start talking more about the migrant crisis. Oh, yeah, the trans thing's over. That's a good point. I mean, I can give her a like for that. 100%. And she didn't even respond to this. Have a feeling you might not like her answer. Well, she's in a gated community, protected, so, Did you miss the opening statement, Lucy? Well, let's see. Well, she didn't mention anything about it, so what are they talking about? That's, what opening statement? Let's see. Where's the, you won't get an answer, the only crisis? Yeah, where was it at? Where was it at here? Because I just kind of want to see. Did I miss it? Oh, here it is. Oh, okay, yeah, no one's going to respond to that. So, there we go. we won't get an answer. So anyway, these are all of her responses for the most part. First few people, I guess, got lucky enough to get a response from her. They said that would involve thinking that isn't possible during mass hysteria. Oh, these men are capable of thinking, but it's easier to mouth. Do you think it's just the men? JK, this is what irritates me too, is when J.K. Rowling makes stupid statements like that. What about the women who are coming out against you? Are they men as well? Are they honorary men because they came out against you, J.K.? Seriously? Emma Watson? Any of the others? There's a few others. There's some that have actually stood with her. You know, the person who played the blonde girl, Luna. She stayed with J.K. Rowling on this, and I think Jenny Weasley, maybe? The one who played her? I can't remember, though. So anyway, guys, tell me what you all think about this. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all here in the next one. Later.